Hello, everybody! Hi, what about that for a bloody intro? Step up the master. That was absolutely amazing. You're very welcome to the channel. You've got three very happy, excited people that want to tell you about their experiences. It might take a week or two, but we're gradually going to get through telling you about all our experiences. Tonight, we're going to talk about meeting our heroes. And for me, it is my knife hero. This is much like meeting Pat Jennings when I met him. I was going to say Tommy Cooper, Henry Cooper, the boxer. I mean, this is exactly on par with what it was for me. It was just a bouncer. What about yourself?
Well, for Mikey and me, it was probably the same experience of meeting you, Stephen. And all that we would like to say is that we hope it wasn't as much of a disappointment for you as it has been for us. Mikey?
Yes.
You are all very welcome, and we've got 39 in already. Thank you. And apart from anything else, we've got a couple of nice things. Each year we're trying to do something a wee bit different. We've got a couple of nice things coming up in the pipework, so you'll find out about them over the next week or two. And it's not a big change, but just freshen it up a wee bit. Different things.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're scrapping knife news because it's old hat and other channels are copying us now, and we want to change that up to something different. We'll just tell you something interesting if we've got something interesting.
Didn't we steal it? No.
No, did we? No, maybe not. Yeah, well,
let's not go down the intellectual property route because we'd probably lose.
But yes, so tonight we're going to talk about our trip, what it was like, what we did in Sheffield over the 2 days. And I'll have to just start it off by saying the biggest thing we done for 2 days was belly laugh. I have not belly laughed since I was in the military. That's how good it was. It was like going back to being an 18-year-old numpty, just laughing at the stupidest things, because everything, Stuart McRae, intellectual.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a stretch.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it was just fun with friends, eating with friends. Awesome. And like breaking bread and eating with somebody is just the best thing, isn't it? Absolutely.
And it's hard to say how much it exceeded all of our expectations.
Definitely.
I mean, to Mikey and Slippy were there, and they showed us around. They were fantastic hosts, and it was just lovely to get together with them. And apart from anything else, it was great. They just kept on, go over there, point over there, go. Yeah. If you want to come upstairs, have a poke in there. Yeah, just have a rummage. It was just brilliant.
I don't know of any other small companies like that with 3 workers would take a whole day off.
Yeah.
A whole day off of work to entertain us, and they were just amazing with their time, their knowledge. They answered every question we had. Mm-hmm. There was no rush to get it finished. I mean, Michael could talk for weeks. Sorry if you're watching, Michael, but Michael could talk for weeks. Yeah. And the thing is, it's so interesting because he has years, maybe 60, 70 years of doing this. And he's just a font of knowledge.
60, 70 years?
Oh, did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Michael, if you're in there.
40, 50, maybe. 40, 50, maybe.
40 years. 40 years in the business.
He does look older than he looks.
Well, he does now. After
I mean, he had Ashley when he was 65. But honestly, as hosts in their factory, we were treated like
royalty. I mean, how much more special can a person make you feel than to say, what was it they did, Mikey?
They swept the floor of the main workshop. They've never done that for me.
And that floor has not been swept since
1947. Yeah.
Yeah,
we were honoured. It was a privilege.
Yeah.
One of the quotes I do remember is I dropped something at one point, and I can't even remember what it was because it disappeared.
We lost it.
And Beth's comment was, she just looked down and looked up and says, "No, it belongs to the floor now."
We looked, didn't we? Because we heard something hit the floor, and it was gone. We were looking for it, and she was like, "You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it."
No,
resigned to
the place itself is an animal. I mean, it's almost alive in terms of the
really
history
is.
it carries, the personality it has.
lovely old, even like patina. If you like patina, it's the place to go. Because even the stairs, the floorboards, the tables, the walls, everything has patina.
Decades and decades of dust.
It's a proper old industrial building, isn't it? It's just amazing.
It's definitely got Tina's, that's for sure.
And when you see it, you can't believe that they can produce such an amazing knife. And I know it's not chaos because Michael's like me in a shed. You know where everything is. Nobody else will, but he knows where everything is. And Ashley and Beth. So, I mean, they gave us so much time and answered the questions. Just, you're giggling away here.
Some of the comments are brilliant. Yeah, Dave, it was pretty much. It was both of our jaws hit the floor. It was one of those experiences, but it was absolutely brilliant. Mikey, what was it like for you actually just meeting us? Because we've been talking about this for so long now.
I've had 2 days of therapy and it's not working. I'm thinking of going back to the drink. No,
take one for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It was 2 of the funniest days I've had in a long time. Me and Slippy set off early to get to the airport. Little did we know that that your pilot was Nigel Mansell.
Yeah,
and he got you there in like 34 seconds or something, so we were late. But as soon as you got in the car,
that pilots can take speed and drive safely.
Yeah, it was amazing. So sorry, go ahead, Maggie.
But as soon as you two got in the car, it was just a barrel of laughs. It was just so good.
It was like from a year ago, it didn't matter. It was just start right from the word go and potty mouth Sawyer. Potty mouth Sawyer.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's got a very foul mouth.
Potty mouth. You wouldn't believe it. Don't think he's a nice person. He's not.
Yes, because
he's funny, but he's not nice.
The two of you were so well behaved. I mean, leave Matt alone. He started it. You two took it to a whole different level. I mean, at one point, I was starting to worry about him because he couldn't even compete at some point. But it's when Matt puts his head in his hands, you know that something is going.
And he let in for a cuddle in the cafe, and that was the first place we went. And he was already in for a cuddle.
He did indeed.
But no, as hosts, the two boys just treated us brilliantly. As guests in a working factory for traditional handmade knives, and to watch how they do it, where they work from, where they sit at, it's just unbelievable. It was just everything I expected and way more.
Yeah,
way more. Just hospitality, just can't express how good it was and how good it made us feel. We were made to feel welcome. There's a wee cuddle with Slippy. Look at that. That was the first place. Oh, I was cuddling. I thought it was you. I was cuddling him.
No, it was you.
I think I cuddled a lot of people this week.
There was a lot of cuddling.
You called him for help.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what's happening. It's because off screen you can't see what Matt is doing on the off screen down below there. But I'm sure Elan or Mrs. Naked John could figure it out fairly quickly. But we'll move on from that very swiftly.
But I mean, that was the first place that Mikey took us to. He took us to the university area.
He did.
Which is just right beside where Michael's workshop is. He said, we'll go into a wee university cafe and we'll have a fry.
Yeah. Well, we had, in his defense, and as a matter of respect to him, we had said that we'd treat him to breakfast. The fact that he chose the most expensive place in Sheffield to take us for that said breakfast.
In the blooming, what do they pay the students over there? 17 quid for a breakfast.
It was 16.50, you tight arse.
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't get even bread that I know what the name of it meant. And I got
it was special bread
for 24 hours. I fought it constantly.
Yeah, it was the beans that did that. Of course,
it was the beans. It was definitely the beans.
That's right. That is right. But yeah, I mean, but that was one of the weird things about being there, because when we got there, I mean, there was absolutely no indication that you were in the middle of Sheffield's historic steel cutlery manufacturing section or part, because it was just. Well, let me show you.
Yeah,
let me show you.
Let me show you. Yeah.
I did a wee sort of walkthrough as we arrived. So if you've never actually been to Sheffield and been
beautiful
to Arthur Wright, this is actually the approach, and it's this mad contrast of this what looks like a tenement from a Dickensian novel and all this massively modern architecture. So you've got cutting edge modern.
Look at that build at the top right. That's beautiful.
And then
this is Arthur Wright.
Arthur Wright and so
it's just amazing.
And this is where all the magic happens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny, you get an awful lot of people, just off one thing off the topic, but when we were talking to them, and people are always saying, I can't get an Ashley Harrison, I can't get an Ashley. You have got an Ashley Harrison if you've got Arthur Wright knives, because it's either him or Beth make the knife, or sometimes they share it. But that's the only two people that are making knives there. Michael is the background staff doing all the man work, the man work, the boss work. Yeah, the boss work. And them two. So that's it. You'll get either one of the two of them or two of them that have shared a workload for that day. So.
And I mean, just to put faces to the names.
Yes.
There we are, guys. So
that is the worst country band I've ever seen.
I know, but the music we put out is awesome. There's a lot of ting, ting, ting. Talk us through that, Mikey. Talk us through left to right.
So we've got Mr. Ashley Harrison there in his green T-shirt, in his working gear. And then we have that good-looking fella. What's he called? Stephen.
Yeah, that's him. The good-looking one, of course.
And then the strategically placed smaller people, so we could see the sign in the photo. We have our wee Beth and our wee Judd.
Yeah, and it is good for people to see that I am honest about my lack of height. I mean, I am not short, people. And if you notice the footwork side of things, Beth and I are standing on steps. Nobody else is.
Then you've got myself, and then you have the owner of the stud business of Michael. So that was there was one person missing from that photo, and that was Slip Joint Sawyer, but I'm guessing that he was taking a picture.
He is indeed behind the
There's
camera.
another picture of him we'll bring up next week when he's in this main photograph.
Yeah,
but that was the gang of 7 that were there for the day.
Yeah.
But you see the smiles on the faces; they never left.
Yeah,
they just didn't leave.
It was brilliant. So it started off about 12 o'clock. We'd had a late breakfast. We got in about 9 o'clock, just before 9 o'clock, and we hit Sheffield about 10:30 or whatever. We got breakfast, and then went up to Arthur Wright's just before 12. We're welcomed in as warmly as if we were long lost members of the family. It was fabulous. It really was.
Don't stand about. Just go wherever you want.
That's it.
That's basically it.
Although I have a sneaking suspicion that the don't stand about was a health and safety thing because there's no room to stand about.
There's no room.
There's no room to stand about.
Every little store is packed with little boxes with
I know.
different, oh, absolutely everything in it.
And it is just incredible. I mean, Mikey had told us about some of this stuff before. Mikey, what were your favorite pieces in terms of, because you were even saying just about going through the door every day.
I love that effect. Yeah, there's no doorbell. There's no, and you just push the door, but you've got to push it because it's on a latch. So some people think that it's closed, but you've got to push the door, and then it opens into this hallway, and then there's a set of stable doors. There's a glass window where you can see Michael's office, and then you've got to push that wonderful doorbell. And after you push that doorbell, then you've got to step back and you wait for the footsteps coming down the stairs, and then going, who the hell is this now? And they come down the stairs, and then they open that top stable door, and they go, oh, it's you.
Yeah. They're jumping in while they're here.
It is indeed. And I mean, here's some visualization of some of that anyway, just to give you an idea. Really, this is what happens when you come through the door. Stairs straight up in front of you, corridor goes straight out and out to the yard at the back, which is hilarious. Just there where you see the end of that car, that goes out into the yard at the back, which we'll be showing either tonight or a wee bit later on. The stairs go up to the workshops and the attic, and
it's 3 stories. Yeah, it's 3 stories.
And then on the left, you've got the first room, and immediately left again, you've got Michael's office. Now,
this is what's commonly known as the stock room,
and it is awesome. It is. I cannot tell you. I think I wasn't looking at the clock, so when we left, we'd been here for 4 hours. I thought we'd been there for an hour.
Yeah.
Because we must have spent an hour just in this room, just talking to each other before we actually moved on anywhere. And it was just the most remarkable place. All of these boxes are crammed full of fittings of knives. You've got a desk down here that gives you access to, just spare parts.
This is also where the knives get sent to you from. This is where actually it's got all his tape and his cardboard. So this is where he wraps you like your knives up and stuff.
All there, I never even noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody's had a knife from Ashley or Arthur Wright in general,
they put a lot of money into packaging.
Yes, a lot of money into packaging. It features sort of heavy grade cardboard and enough tape to stop a bullet. Basically, everything is made up of tape.
And I love it. I just because when it's your Ashley Harrison knife or your Arthur Wright knife, you know when it's coming. It's just beautiful.
You basically get a fold of cardboard and a whole roll of brown tape on it, don't you?
That's it. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
Just a label on the top of it.
But yeah, I mean, as you'll pan around there, I think Justin's you going to pan that around a bit?
Indeed.
All right.
Well, we'll have a look at it anyway.
Yeah.
And see. And then it goes on round and then into the back of the room. Now, I want to stop this because I was talking to Michael at this point and I was just completely overwhelmed by the welcome we've got. But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, I want to talk to these guys, but at the same time, I want to explore.
Yeah.
Because there was so much to see. And so obviously Michael saw this in my eye and he just went,
oh, sorry.
Go have a look down there.
Cheerio, darling. Say hello and bye-bye to everybody. Say bye-bye. Bye.
Hello, bye-bye.
I love you, darling.
And basically what he said was, go on, have a poke around, have a look at some of the boxes in there. So he just encouraged me to pick up some of the boxes in on the right here. Cardboard boxes, heavy full of metal components. And essentially, the main overriding sort of features are, one, it's full of all bits of knives, or pocket knives.
Yeah.
The blades, the handles, what we found out are called webs, the liners.
Has anybody ever heard of that in America? Because that's what they call the liners in Arthur Wright's. They're called webs. And I'd not heard that term used at all.
No, never.
Never. So, I mean, it was really interesting just to find out that's what they call them, as webs.
Yeah.
So is that the same in America, or is it just something that's local to Sheffield?
Yeah. But I picked up one of the boxes and started poking through it, and the other feature of it is everything is covered in dust, layers and layers of dust.
Yeah.
And Mike, I said to Michael, so what's in here? And I mean, it was old knives, it was knife blanks, it was knives that had been taken apart. He said that some of the knives in some of the boxes, some of the pieces in some of the boxes are over 100 years old, because they never throw away anything.
Yeah.
They never throw away anything. And those parts that are in that box will get used again in some way, shape, or form. It just blew my mind. It just blew my mind completely.
You know, I think I want to say a lot, because I've maybe said it in my own channel, but the price you pay for an Arthur Wright knife is about 40 quid for a basic knife. They don't get anywhere near that when they're selling knife onto a dealer.
Yeah.
They don't get anywhere near it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the work that they have to put in to make a living, you can't throw anything away. You just can't. It's one of those old-fashioned jobs where everything is kept and reused.
Absolutely maximized, yeah.
But
go.
Do you know what this room reminds me of? Do you remember that American TV series where the two boys went in a van, traveled around America?
Oh, American Pickers?
American Pickers. They would have had a field day in this place.
Oh, my word. They would never left.
No, they'd have been in there for weeks.
It was Slippy who pushed me towards the back of this, Mikey. Have you had a poke around in here yourself, of course?
No, maybe several times.
Have you found anything interesting?
Lots. There's lots of knives there that have been deconstructed so they can measure sort of webs and scales and bolsters and stuff. They've got lots of patterns that they keep on those shelves. Patterns dating back, Arthur Wright patterns dating back 60, 70 years, and Howarth patterns dating back, to like the 1900s. Yeah. They've just got loads of old stuff in there, which they use as reference, and they keep bits and pieces so they can always cut something out to make it fit somewhere else, and it's brilliant.
And sort of the nice thing with Michael, I think, this next year and maybe the year after, he's going to start bringing different patterns back again, which I think is fantastic, because I mean, we're all buying Arthur Wright knives, so it'd be nice to get something new, just something different. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, like the older patterns. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is forward thinking, because, I mean, they can't stay stagnant. I mean, like any business, they have to go.
Michael said that. He knows that he's got to keep looking at new things, even though they're really busy making the stuff that they make now, which is 88 patterns.
Yeah.
That's their current stock. They've got like 200 dormant patterns, so amazing.
And you can see why I advertised the Sheffield shop, the famous Sheffield shop. If you want to buy an Arthur Wright, that's where you go to do it. These people don't have time to sit and do, they just don't have the time to do computer work and whatever. They're so busy getting the knives out. So that's why if you go to the Sheffield shop, we'll talk a little bit about them later as well, because we went there as well after this.
Yeah.
The next morning.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And to answer Elan's question, yeah, it was very close in there.
Very.
It was very close. I mean, you cannot overestimate how tiny this place is.
Can I just say that? Can you see the look in Beth's eye? Because my arms around her, she is sweating.
Horrified.
Can you see the worry? Can you see the worry on Slippy's face?
In a good way, she knows.
Can you see the worry on like Slippy's face because of creepy uncle?
Why do you think Ashley is standing so close to Stephen? And he has probably got a knife in hand.
He was a wee bit close most of the day. I think that's. I thought he was.
He was protected. Although, all joking aside, I think Beth is more than capable of taking care of herself,
especially a silly old bugger like me. Well, it was lovely because it'd been a year since we'd sort of spoke to her, longer than a year, 2 years ago probably, when we spoke to her. And you can see her development, her confidence, everything about her was just, it was lovely. Yeah. And to spend 5 years in an apprenticeship, that's an awful long time. And there's not many, well, they can't get any boys to bloom and do it.
No, they can't get anybody.
They can't get anybody. They
I mean,
can't.
for crying out loud. I mean, Michael's one selection criterion because he desperately wants to get people in it is a pulse.
Yeah,
That's it.
But they just can't get. That's what people are saying. Why don't they do more knives? Why doesn't Ashley do more knives? Ashley would love to do more custom knives, but the bills have to be paid first before he gets up to the 3rd floor and spends the evening there.
No. Well, before we get to the 3rd floor, I mean, we have to walk our way through the rest of this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is on our way up. These stairs are gorgeous, but they're a death trap for somebody as incapable of movement as Stephen is.
Yeah, they really are.
And I mean, you can see this. Honestly, this is what it's like. It's just spit and sawdust and flaking plaster, and I mean, it's awesome.
It has its own beauty,
Really
especially for me, because this is, you know, the way you're told what something's going to be like, but until you actually get there.
So here we are. This is the main workshop floor. Mikey, what would you call this? Does it have its own title, or?
I think this is what they call like the workshop. This is the 1st floor. This is like the 1st floor only has one room, doesn't it? And it's this main room.
Yeah. And if we sort of swing round, you can see that it runs the full length of the terrace.
Elan, we don't do health and safety here.
Yeah.
No. If you're worried about health and safety, do not come in here.
Oh,
look at that floor. That floor is spotless. Look at it.
Yeah, it's just
swept.
And the very last seat, that red seat at the bottom, that's where Beth does most of her work. Now she's obviously using machines, but that's where she goes back to. Sometimes Ashley's in here, but usually he's up on the 3rd floor working, and then
which is his workshop. Yeah.
But Beth's in here, and that's all the machinery they use for buffing, turning wood, turning metal, making things fit.
And I think I managed to get a shot of some Beth's knives, some of her finished work.
Yeah,
no, it's just up there on the left.
Yeah, I've done an interview with Beth and Ashley, and they're just talking about knife making in general. I think the video we've got is just them talking about the nuances of knife making and what you have to learn. You know, it's not as simple as just cutting a bit of metal, putting them down the exact shape. There's little ways you have to trim them and turn them to get the knives to fit beautifully, to get your blade level at the open and close position.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just talked for about 20 minutes. We talked in there. It was absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed the chat.
I just can't describe to you how cool it was. But right, so we've been talking now for nearly half an hour. I can't believe that myself. And while we could get away with having said that we showed a couple of knives in the trailer, we haven't shown any knives yet.
Right.
So shall we show the punters? I mean, I'm stunned. Oh, thank you, Slippy. There you go. Shall we show a knife?
Well, yeah, we'll show knives. We'd ordered these a few months ago, some of them, from Ashley to pick up today. And we managed to get them done for us, which was just amazing.
So what are
Why is it on me? Why is the camera on me? Do you want me to show a knife?
You're the best looking one of all of us.
Yeah, but did you want me to show a knife? Because which knife did you want me to show?
Which, whatever you want. Yeah, your newest Ashley. Not the new one, because that's a secret one.
Well, this is one of my Ashleys. This is a Brit buster that I've not had for like very long.
One of the many Brit busters you have.
I have a couple, Stephen.
Kathleen, I'll talk to you about the forge in a wee bit.
We'll talk to you.
This has got the chased back spring done by Michael, of which we will also talk about.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything you don't hear tonight, you'll hear over the next couple of weeks. There's just too much to fit in with our excitement.
And look at that half. Well, give me the sound again, Mikey.
Half stop now.
Oh.
Lovely walk and talk on this now. Can I just say that the half stop was my input on it. There you go.
Beautiful. What's the wood on that one?
This one is in walnut.
Fantastic.
Oh, you want to show the Lignum Vitae one?
Yeah, we're going.
Let's see that. Split point Barlow. Come on.
Yeah, because this one hasn't. The original one didn't have the half stop.
It was a cam saying, yeah.
Which was gorgeous. But what we got was.
It was the. Do you want me to show the one previous?
I've got both.
Oh, you've got both. There you go.
So our original one of these bolstered. Let me blow myself up full screen here.
Well, I could do that for you.
Doopy. There we go. Barlow, fat spear.
Oh, that was our original one, wasn't it?
That's our original one.
And Lignum Vitae.
Lignum Vitae, green liners, backwork spring. Check that out.
And like both myself and Michael, this was Justin's pick. He got first pick, and that's what he picked. And we weren't so sure that this was the right one to start with, but I know me for one. This has been one of my most carried Ashley Ashlins in the last. Well, how long have we had it? About 3 months.
Since just before Christmas, haven't we?
Yeah,
Just before Christmas. Yeah.
this is just stunning.
So this one, exact same configuration, okay, but this time in a clip.
Oh, it's just so sexy. There's two of the sexiest Barlows in my collection now. What a
Look
gruesome
at them.
twosome. They are beautiful. And we found out where the wood came for
Yeah.
these, which was just amazing.
That was fantastic because actually, in one of the comments in your video this afternoon, one of the guys had said, I think who was it? Bo Rex. It was Bo Rex had said the lignum vitae had actually been used on the sailing ships as ball bearings, or as bearings or something like that. But what was it used for, Stephen?
The lignum vitae that this came from was a bowling ball, as in, crown bowls. It was them cut down and made into this beautiful knife. What a fantastic story to take with you. Just super. That's lignum vitae is the wood they used for the crown green bowls, and that's what they done to make these. A similar one will probably be available in America, but it'll be plastic. sorry. What are their balls made of? Resin?
Actually, no.
They'll be a Jack Wolf.
No, they're resin coated.
I actually think that Ashley had said that bowling balls, there were lignum vitae bowling balls, but it would have been old bowling balls.
Yes.
They are old ones, yeah, old ones.
But it's just, what a little story to tell. One of the many little tips.
Snippets. Yeah. And there we go.
2 more bowling balls are coming.
Yeah, Griff's got some like bowling balls, some old ones.
And Peter's got a mallet made from bowling ball lignum vitae. There you go. I'm learning so many things.
And for anybody who doesn't know, lignum vitae is one of the densest woods in the world. It's so dense it doesn't float. It sinks. Right, yeah. So there's another little snippet for all those who aren't 100% sure.
That's what Stephen made his first ship from.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. He obviously the background in the Navy paid off, Mikey. Not. He did try to sell it as a submarine, mind you, but that's between you and me. So apparently, I mean, this won't come as a surprise to anybody, but apparently Sean has got some. But please, Lynn, get him under manners, would you? Please. Now, speaking of Sean, tell everybody about Sean. We're taking a brief digression into the social aspect.
Well, shall I show my knife first, or do you don't want to?
No, I don't care about your knife.
Right,
no,
okay.
show your knife, please.
Because I really want to show this. This is something that's new for us, not completely brand new. I think he's made a couple now, but this is actually starting to do his own dyed bone and his own jigging that he took quite a while to master, but now, and you'll hear later more about that later on as well. Look at this beautiful. Do you want to put me up there, or am I getting no help from you now? Have I got to do this all my blooming self?
Well, I'm just trying to do everything, if you don't mind.
But that's what you're paid for.
I'm paid?
You're paid? Hang on, paid?
Hello?
Anytime.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. So this is the new jigging that Ashley does, and honestly, it is, the color of this blue is just gorgeous. I mean, and Justin we ordered these together because we're chums. He got a green one, which is again absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful knives. But this is just another thing, because I always get it with people. Well, them Barlows are too small, or the bolsters are too small to be a Barlow. This is an Ashley custom with a large Barlow. This is an Ashley custom with a smaller Barlow bolster. Either one is beautiful for different reasons. This makes this, I just think this is the most elegant little pen blade,
Perfect gentleman.
it's a pocket
For
knife.
gentlemen like us, sir.
Exactly.
That's why Mikey didn't get one, because he's common.
Common as muck. Look at his wee face.
Oh, look.
So yeah, this to get these on the day was just amazing, and this was put to use that night on a big steak.
It was, and that big steak, because Mikey.
See the way I led you in there.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job.
Absolutely, Gary Lineker.
Mikey did a wonderful job of getting us all over the place, and there's the Slipmeister himself finally showing his face. And yes, TK, that is another opportunity for to say Slippy wins the prize for the most exotic and weird expressions on every single photograph or a clip of film that we have.
One the same.
Yeah. It ranges. It gives us the full dramatic range from shock horror to guilt to
to a famous Gurner.
Oh well, that too. But and of course, Mikey was doing all the driving, and we'd arranged to meet Sean halfway. Unfortunately, Lynn couldn't come along. And honestly, if she had come along, it probably would have controlled the behavior of these reprobates. It was unbelievable, and I, of course, behaved myself with perfect, whatever. Sean, however, was as bad as anybody else.
It's funny because
no, he wasn't. Don't say that. Lynn's in the chat.
Lynn, you should be ashamed of yourself for letting him out of an evening. You really should.
But I mean, there's Sean come in the sort of after the day and sat down, and it was like he would only be gone 5 minutes, and he joined back in again. It was lovely to meet people that you can just miss a year, and then all of a sudden they pop into the conversation, and it's like they've been there all day. And there was no gap or hesitancy. No. It was just straight back in, and that to me is nice people.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you get a group of people that you enjoy, it doesn't matter how often you meet, it's going to be good.
Yeah. David is 100% right. I mean, he hasn't even Botoxed his forehead like I did. So I mean, not a wrinkle in sight. Not a wrinkle in sight.
Can I just say, look at the lack of alcohol on that table. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was the only one drinking.
Yeah, but there wasn't time to get drunk. It was just such good crack.
I mean, our gubs were so busy talking nonsense that
we actually had to go and hide in the corner here. This isn't the table where we had our dinner. We had to get right up into the corner of the bar because we were so loud. The language was terrible, and we just stuck ourselves away in a wee hidden corner just to finish off the evening, because by the time we left, there was nobody else left in the bar, I don't think.
And it wasn't as if we were late, because it was well past my bedtime.
It really was lovely. Honestly, it
was just fantastic.
I'm genuinely still on a high.
Yeah.
Still on a high.
It was good. It was really nice evening, but it was a really nice 2 days. Yeah, it was just non-stop laughs.
It was just incredible. Absolutely.
And we got the weather. We were sitting outside in the afternoon having coffees and buns, and it was lovely.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Really nice. Sheffield is a really nice city.
And that's the thing. I actually got to go do a wee walkabout the next morning, and I was stunned by how pretty Sheffield actually was. I mean, there's some great architecture. There's old buildings mixed in with new buildings and whatever, and lots. And Mikey was saying this. It's one of the cities in England that's got more parks per capita or something like that than many others, because they've made such an effort to regenerate the city centre.
Because all I've ever heard is I go back to the 70s, 80s with the miners, the steelwork. It just everything has always been the steel city, hard, raw, and it's just not. It's lovely. It really is nice.
No, Kathleen was asking about where do they forge the knives.
Right. Okay.
So
Talk
here we
as
go.
well, Judd. It's a movie.
Oh, we can
There
add
we
that
go.
in afterwards. So what have we got, man?
We're going to shut me up. That, Kathleen, on your left is the forge.
It's just brilliant. It's just
Isn't that awesome?
It's so good. It looks like one of those 80s robots. Don't it?
Yes, that is
Metal Mickey.
that it's desperately in need of an upgrade, you know. I mean, it just didn't make any sense to me because I watch all these videos with these highly technical, you know. I mean, there's the guys who have done the make your own kind of forge with the asbestos bricks and whatever else, or the heat resistant and the torches and whatnot. And then there's the guys who buy the ovens with the computer controlled heat control and everything like this. And then you've got this, which date. I mean, Mikey, when does this date back to?
Oh, that's got to be back to the 30s.
I think. Well, I don't think there's anything newer than 1960.
Right.
So it's all like 50s and 40s, and some stuff's even older. You know, I know that when they updated some of the belt grinders, they brought them in from the 1960s, and they put the old ones into the museum at Kelham Island. So
just fantastic.
Brilliant.
But I mean, this is the other thing between an old traditional Sheffield knife and the modern knives. This is where you separate. You can do heat treatment in this.
Yes.
Because they go by color of the metal.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Stand and watch it. When it colors to the right color that he needs, they come out.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how it works. You
and
know.
What amazed me though was that I was saying because we were asking Ashley about whether or not he would be able to use different steels. I mean, because they use C75 and 01. And that's their basic steels, and I think they're constrained by this equipment that they've got in terms of what they can actually do. But we were talking to Beth about it, and then I suddenly remembered, Beth, you were actually, her training was in blacksmithing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I just turned to her and went, so did you? Because I know Ashley had mentioned this before. Yeah. So do you do your heat treatment in terms of color as opposed to just reading the temperature gauge? And she said, yeah, absolutely. That's the way you do it. Yeah. At the very most, you have like a template with the colors and the temperatures on it. But as you get to know it, it is. You just know what the right color is.
That's what the apprenticeship's for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And we talk later on about things like that. That sometimes the heat treat can go a little bit wrong. You know, not that they'll pull it out the right color, but sometimes it just doesn't take, and that's where you'll maybe get a spring that'll break. But there's a story about one of the batches they had, and it was just a nightmare for them. But there's nothing you can do because you just have to redo it all again, and bring it back out.
Bring it back out. Yeah. And the thing about this is that this is all working off gas. The pipes on the right are working on gas, so they do have a certain amount of control over it, but it's just hilariously antique. I mean, there's nothing new about this. And
it actually makes it more attractive than walking in and see a nice shiny machine.
It really does. It really does. If it ain't broke, you know what I mean?
And they repair it. These machines, Michael is quite able to repair these machines. That's what he does. Do you know what I mean? So fantastic.
I mean, it was amazing. So I mean, just to give you the rest of the scan, this is the pressing machine where all of the blades are stamped out of their little forms, and then I'm not even sure what the rest of it was.
Just sheet metal goes in and they stamp them out. Oh, there's me.
And there's his nibs again.
This is one. But there's the stamp blades there, and you can
see down on the left hand side, you can see the metal sheet there, and then all of those stamps are stamped out. And if you look up on the shelves on the top left, you'll see those are the dies that are put into the machine that actually push down and stamp out the different shapes. And each one is either a different shape for a spring or for a blade shape. Yeah. It's just incredible.
I would have loved to have heard that going. The next time I want to see that working, and I want to see the heat treat.
That is loud. That is really noisy.
Yeah. Health and safety.
Health and safety. Yeah. this is the best story, and I hope Michael won't mind me sharing it. This is the best story that I had from the day. Was in the forge room, because at the first thing I said to him, I said, well, because everything, there's not a guard or a warning sign or anything on this in the entire building. Never mind in this place. This place, I mean, it's massive noise, dirt and grit and bits of metal flying everywhere. Huge, big, massive, big pieces of impacting steel hammering against each other when they're all going, and open gas fires that are superheated to incredible temperatures. And I said to Michael, just tongue in cheek kind of thing. I really love the attention to health and safety in here. He just shrugged. I went, yeah. Well, here's the thing about health and safety. See, if you light that forge, the flame, and we were standing in the middle of the room, the flames will actually come out to the middle of the room.
That's just fantastic.
and burn you where you stand. But it means if you put a guard up there or anything, you won't be able to get at the forge. But he says the interesting thing about health and safety is that as the owner director of the company, he and Ashley are both co-directors.
Yeah.
They are not bound by the rules of health and safety. What he did say was that they can't let Beth down in.
Yeah.
Because she's an employee.
Yeah.
And they would have to change everything for an employee.
And it just goes to show you that how complicated it is to run a small, old industrial building and making these knives, which is why my passion for them is just, it's probably doubled since I went there. I just now completely am invested wholeheartedly in, once you see that place, you meet the people who are working in it, you become invested. Because
I think it's one thing me trying to tell you what they do and what it looks like, but until you've actually walked those floorboards.
But Mikey, you done it so well to us because you had us sort of briefed about what it was going to be like, and we felt your excitement when you were telling, because you can't be anything but excited if you're a knife person.
Yeah.
To me, I'd rather go there than go to Spyderco and see a lot of automated machines going past. Do you know what I mean? That wouldn't appeal to me as much.
I'd like to go to Spyderco. I think it would be a different experience, but this was magic. This was pure magic.
It was just amazing.
You get the fizz, don't you? Every time that you go in there, you do get a fizz.
Absolutely. And because you sort of feel awkward about, can I look in there? Just go wherever you want. It was just so open and so open.
It really was. Right. So Tony asked a question. I can't find it. Where is it?
Did Tony ask a sensible question?
Tony did. Tony asked a sensible question about, 57 people in, Mikey.
Thank you so much. Please hit the like button on the way out. It really helps.
It is incredible. So Tony's asking about any pictures of the woodwork side, splitting scales and things like that. Not specifically woodwork. However, we do have a couple of little treats for you. First of all, here's a wee thing. This is the perfect example of a well-organized stock store where they can immediately go in and source the scale materials that they need.
Yeah.
It was probably the best, most incredible, amazing piece of organization I have ever seen.
Really?
Jason.
Just for laughs.
That's a stag on the floor. That's the end of a huge batch of stag that they had. They've worn it down to that.
So this is where they keep their scale resources. And then here, big blocks of wood.
There's everything is just everything you can think of.
I'm seeing black palm there and some of that resin mixed with wood as well. Yeah.
But they have wood that's come from old churches, from schools. They're just everything.
Even furniture is being repurposed and
gymnasium tiles, wooden tiles. I mean, just.
And in terms of actually looking at the work,
you want all different sizes as well. But
Beth was kind enough to show us how, because his jigging has come on so amazing. He's mastered jigging. I mean, the jigging on these knives is just absolutely amazing.
And it's his own.
Yes. And what he did, well, actually, there's two parts to this. First of all, that cheeky beggar Slippy spotted a knife lying free on, and in fact, spotted my knife lying free on
yours.
And yeah, of course it was mine. I mean, come on. The fact that he laid hands on it first has got nothing to do with it whatsoever. Found my knife and then said, "Can I have this? How much? How much? How much?" Because that's what he always does. He goes by it. And we just happened to be talking to Ashley about jigging and how he is now doing his jigging. He said, "Well, all I'm using basically is a Dremel." And he said, "Well, can you give us an example?" And Slippy having this, and it was what was it, Mikey?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. It was a buffalo horn, two-bladed jackknife. And Slippy just handed it over to Ashley and went, "Jig that. I'll buy it off you." And so Ashley set to work, and this, Tony, is how it works.
Yeah. This is not pre-rehearsed or anything.
No, he just went to work. And this is in real time.
You can see the little wiry bits coming off the buffalo horn, like just.
So leave the sound on for effect.
Yeah, leave it on there.
You're nearly doubling back actually on a lot of them, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think I was saying you're doubling back on them.
Yeah.
And he does it. He'll just.
But it's just making sure you go over all the spots, the high spots. I think that's where I was going wrong. I was trying to get them close together and take it out. Well, you need to cross over them to make it look random. And that's bone, is it? Buffalo, this one. Buffalo. I've never actually jigged buffalo, so this might look nice, it might look crap.
And that was really, he never jigged buffalo, and he just thought it would be for a hand in the knife.
Actually, it's just ruined your night.
I've got calf.
Not even I look after that.
Somebody put up jigs after. No, it probably wouldn't have been in the. This is just an old knife that was under the table, and he decided to show us because we asked him could he do jig and let us see what he does, and he just I'll do that. Put it in the base. That was it.
Yeah. What it was that there was two old Arthur Wright knives there that had some damage to the buffalo, and they'd been in there for about 15 years, and and that's why it's like locked in a vice, like the way that it is, like to be jigged, and that is one of those knives.
Yeah. And I mean, just see it.
You can see that. You lick your finger and put it over that, it will change the look of it.
The problem is I don't want to do that now because then the polish.
Yeah. What was it about the polish?
He's going to polish, and he didn't want there was old polish that would have been on it. So,
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just amazing, the result of it.
And then he took the knife away, sharpened the blades up, and then sold it to Slippy for buttons.
Exactly. And the reason one of the main things, even though he was selling it very cheap because it was a leftover second or whatever else, he was looking at it and he saw that there was a split or a flaw in the buffalo, didn't he, Mikey? And he went, "Are you sure you want that?" Because he did exactly the same with the one that you got as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So you can't see the floor because it's been jigged. So
put him up like there so we can see the knife.
Go ahead.
Look at that. Isn't that just stunning? And it's the sort of thing that you could do with, if you've had bone for a while, it can go a bit cloudy.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to fix a knife up.
Absolutely.
And use an old. And they have so much old stuff that's lying there.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
It was fantastic.
And that's the way that they went. You sort of asked them questions. They gave you either a direct verbal answer or they showed you how to do it.
Yeah.
And there's more videos like that where they're showing us and talking about what they do, how they do them. It's too much in one video. It just
it does. It just
blows your mind.
Everybody away. What would you guys? What would if we were, because we're coming up to an hour here anyway, guys. So it seems like a good time to start to wrap this up. So is there anything that you think that everybody would like to see just before we finish off? Anything that we can? Well, actually, there is one thing that I want people to see, right? Because it was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
And I think you know where I'm going to go with this.
Yes, they didn't tell me there was no door in the toilet.
Yeah. That's really what we're going to go with. Yeah.
Out of all the things, that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah. Out of all the things, I want to show you this because that for me, this is just an aspect of Arthur Wright that that just blew my mind. Michael was telling Mikey afterwards that Stephen and I were like a pair of kids in a sweetie shop afterwards, and honestly, this brought back all my childhood because at one point Michael just handed me this implement, this sword, and I nearly had a conniption fit. I just lost it. And that was just the start. He handed me this and said, have a look at that. And I pulled this. I mean, this is a live sword. This is a real sword. It's hilted in brass. It's got a spiral pattern on the hilt there. Beautiful pommel and pommel in brass. The weight on it is absolutely perfect. And it is perfectly hobbit sized. It really is.
Was it a French pioneer sword?
That's where I'm coming to, Mikey, because this is a surprise. I thought it was a replica of some sort, of some kind of fantasy sword, because you can see it's got the serration on the massive sawage on the back. And then he said to me, no, that is an original French Legion pioneer sword from the period of the Battle of Waterloo. I nearly fainted. And I mean, it just blew my mind.
He then took you into a little dark room and really blew your mind completely.
He did. He did. It's a sword for me, Norwegian tinkerer. Jerk.
That's a dagger.
Not T-jerk. It's not T-jerk.
But he took you into a room and you seen a bundle.
Well, what happened was that Ashley then brought out something else that was hiding behind the door. It was stuck behind the door. And it just had it was 3.5 foot long, and it just was covered in a piece of plastic wrapping. And he handed it to me hilt first, but there was no hilt on it. It was just the tang. Took the plastic wrapping on it, and it was the most beautiful longsword, chased and engraved with the Wilkinson sword.
That's right.
Centenary commemoration or whatever it was. It was chased and engraved the whole way down the blade. Because it was a ceremonial blade for to be fitted for hilt and furniture and all sorts of things. And then, and the question I asked, and I said, "So you make swords?" And Michael goes, "No, not anymore. We used to." But come here, and he took me across the corridor into another room, which was again beautifully organized. And you know, when I say beautifully organized, that it wasn't organized in any way, shape, or form. It was just a dumping ground for all sorts of stuff. And he pushed some furniture away and some bits and pieces. And there underneath it was like a sheaf, not a sheath, but a sheaf of old sword blades, each one individually wrapped in plastic. There must have been dozens of the things, if not 50.
Yeah.
And he took a couple out. There were officers' swords. There were cavalry sabers. He took one out that was a replica of the Duke of Wellington's Mameluke saber. And just handed it to me. It was the most incredible thing. It really was. And these are all old stock from the original factory that have been left over that they, again, like everything else, they keep because they'll reuse. And I mean,
it's the sort of thing, if something like that comes back into fashion again for collectors, they've got a blooming gold mine sitting there.
I know. Oh, that was just,
there is so much history stored around that building of knife making, sword making, all kinds of tools and stuff. It's just amazing to see, and most of it, if not every day, but it still gets used. You know, so
fantastic.
It was for me that was right at the beginning, and that was already a high point, and it just kept on going up from there. So it was just an amazing experience.
And we have more footage to show you. But
Yeah.
I mean, this to me, this is the nice way of doing it. And just breaking it up rather than you just sitting watching a video for it.
Everything,
You know,
yeah.
we were going to put it all together and do it over 3.
But this is
No,
better.
this is
way-
better.
works
Well,
better.
I've enjoyed this again
Yeah.
because I'm reliving it again.
Yeah.
It's just,
Absolutely.
and I don't know whether the excitement's coming across or you feel the same when you see something like this where people are working day in, day out to get your little hobby knife out to your
Yeah.
door. And what the work that they put in to get it to your door is just phenomenal.
You do realise once you've been in there that you've got 3 people running an entire production business and running a business, making as many knives as fast and as well as they can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is
and
why
that's-
sometimes you can't find a clip point Barlow for sale because everywhere's sold out and they're all up waiting. Most people that are buying from them are putting 2 or 3 orders in. And they've always got 2 or 3 orders waiting to be made. They are constantly making knives as fast as they can, and they can't do it any better than they are.
And they're selling them to America now, to Australia, to numerous countries around the world. So not only are they doing the making, they have to do the posting, they have to do the computer work,
They do everything. Everything that you can think of with running a production business, a manufacturing business in this country is amazing.
And that's why if you're a UK, especially if you're a UK citizen, and you get an Arthur Wright knife for £40, for goodness sake, show it off and be proud of it, because
You have
all I
got
left with
handmade,
was
yeah.
3 people who were very proud of what they do. They're just.
Oh no.
Yeah,
It's hard to.
I can nearly get emotional. I have that much passion for them now.
I know.
I already had
Yeah.
because I've been sort of. Oh,
They say don't meet your heroes, but in this context,
Oh.
I think that this is definitely the exception
Yeah.
to the rule. But I think we owe it to our guys because we did find out. I mean, in terms of the PPB life, and I'm going to take this one on.
Yeah.
Because I was the one who warned you right at the beginning that these 2 were being too optimistic in terms of the optimism. So yes, I'm taking the opportunity to blame them.
Him, not me.
That Stephen was being Put your
if
finger.
you're one of my
pointy finger
subs,
up.
you know I get
Put
excited.
your pointy finger up again, Mikey. Yeah. Him.
Yeah.
Just to be
But
clear.
it's not a disaster. It's within the 10% rule.
Yes. So the knives aren't ready yet. So we're going to miss our March deadline, and we apologize for that. But we did warn you at the beginning, or at least I did, that given the way that these guys work, it is never set in stone in terms of that. It will not be long.
No.
They're working on them.
As far as the manufacturing process go, the webs have all been cut out. The blades have been stamped. They're in the grinding process. So, it's just a matter of time. It won't be long, and they will be worth the wait.
Yeah, we're talking weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks after the March deadline, a couple of weeks, hopefully. But they're coming. Don't worry, they'll be here. And this is the only time we're going to have that problem, because once this lot goes, we are already ordering the second lot, and we will have them. When you pay for this next lot, you'll probably get your knife sent out within a week. Once you paid up.
Stephen, stop it. Let's get the knives.
Stephen,
we will not make any more promises. I don't want anybody else.
One step at a time, step by step. We will keep people updated with everything that we know. Behind you, Judd. He's behind you.
He's trying to poke my eyes out now. So Nigel, hopefully that provides you with the update you require. The thing about it is, and the one thing we can't say, we can't show you, but what we can say is we have seen the stamp
on a blade.
It's bloody awesome.
It's very simple, very readable, and you'll know who it is straight away.
And it's effective, isn't it? It's an effective stamp. It looks the bee's knees.
Do you think it could, Mikey, that photograph that you sent, or we shouldn't really be showing it?
No, we shouldn't. Yeah.
So, but it absolutely is exactly what we were looking for. It's subtle, it's sophisticated, it's absolutely completely in contrast to us. So it is a complete surprise. but
Yeah.
that will hopefully
They're going to be good.
that'll hopefully keep you hungry for whenever it's coming through. But we will keep you posted on a week by week basis, and we'll be keeping in touch with Michael now that he knows.
And I've had a
We know
couple.
where he lives.
I've had a couple of people ask on my YouTube channel, you know, where can I get one of those green webbed knives?
Yes,
Webbed.
yes, that's right.
Where can we get the green webbed knives? You can't. They can only get them through us. But so if you haven't paid for one for this batch, there is no more.
Stephen,
But the
they're green liners attached to the webs.
Ooh.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what happens when you've been more than once.
Yes, when he's been more than he's been in his own bloody job.
I know.
Yes, there will be 3 a year is what we're hoping for. If people still want them, we'll do 3 a year, but that's enough for us. We don't want to do any more than that. It's, you know, it's quite a bit of work getting it organized, getting them posted out to you. So, and we will be delivering to anywhere in the world as long as you pay the postage. There's a set postage for the UK, but anywhere else, you pay the postage, we'll post it. Once it leaves the UK stores, good luck.
Folks, that's all we have time for tonight. Well, we don't,
Yeah.
but I mean, we've got to keep something in reserve. Mikey, any parting thoughts from you, my man?
I just really miss you guys now. And even Slippy too. You know, we had such a great time. I can't wait till we all get to meet up again, and the lads and lasses from Discord as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
It'll be
been
great.
a fabulous, another fabulous adventure across England, I have to say, and well worth every penny to do it as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Just thoroughly enjoyed it.
And it'll definitely be done again.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Thank you to everybody for joining us again tonight. We love having you all here, and hopefully you've enjoyed it going down very short memory lane, given it was only the day before yesterday, because we had a ball reliving it. So thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah.
All the best.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Let us know after the video goes up live. Let us know what you thought of the process we went through tonight. Did you enjoy that? Because we'd like to replicate that for maybe another week at least anyway.
Take it easy, folks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, people. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Why did I just copy you? I don't do that.